Before we continue the NFL division previews, we head to the NFC South. We're heading down to New Orleans. Let's get some po' boys. No,
Oh yeah, it was actually
hey,
pretty good. I just had some not too
oh
long
my
ago.
God, the po' boy. What's that place? The beignets over in Cafe
Yeah,
Du Monde.
yeah.
Hey, that's the best hot chocolate I think I've ever had too. So definitely some good
Getting me
stuff down
hungry.
there. I know,
And
I know. Now,
by the
hey,
way,
I was
you know
hitting you with the Kansas City barbecue. Now I'm hitting you
the
with
po'
the
boys.
yeah with the po' boys.
By the way, you know it's a marathon of division or round or division, not division playoffs. What am I talking about? Divisional draft previews, and your hair is kind of coming out your hat. So I could tell it's been a marathon for you.
Oh, it is. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Well, let me lower it.
that was hard for
Yeah,
me
I
to
know.
say.
Oh, wow, it is. Definitely interesting stuff there.
You're like an
Let's head
emo
over.
kid now.
I know, for real. Let's head over now to the New Orleans Saints, Gilbert. It feels like Michael Thomas has been there forever, and it's kind of been on and off with him.
They're
Like,
not
he
playing
comes
either.
back, he plays well, then he gets hurt, and he's out for the rest of the year. It's been kind of up and down with him. And then, obviously, running back Alvin Kamara. Do you think that the Saints should start looking for replacements when it comes to both of them?
Yeah, the Saints are in a weird place because, like, I know they got Derek Carr and they're supposedly they're all in to win the crappy NFC South, but like Mike, you mentioned Michael Thomas. There you go, Fernando. Michael Thomas has not played in a while. Like he came back on a restructured deal, so he might not be around for the long haul. Alvin Kamara is a running back, and you don't know what's going on with him. He will not be around. So I know the Saints lost a lot of talent, a lot of unknown names, but they were pretty vital for the defensive line. Like I think one went to the Falcons. I forget what the other one. I think the Browns. Or I forget the names. But they need to work on that defensive line because Cameron Jordan is by himself. The Saints are a weird team for them because they have a lot of older veterans, so that you have to retool eventually. But they're like talented veterans, right? So which one do you pick out? You pick out a defensive line, a wide receiver. They got Chris Olave, so we're not a wide receiver, but you need a running back eventually. So I think it would be smart, but maybe the way if you're really gonna think about win now mode for Derek Carr, maybe defensive line is the best way to go.
San Diego and California Burritos own Chris Olave, obviously. But and then I'm gonna make you hungry even with that.
Man.
So yeah, I definitely think that they need to start looking for replacements, but they need, especially with that division being so weird. It's gonna have young quarterbacks. It's gonna be a little bit weird. Get pass rushers, get out there, get after the quarterback, confuse them, make them struggle. I think they need to look at pass rush. I think Davenport, who remember they traded up for him a couple of years ago. Now he's gone. I think he went
He's with the
somewhere
Vikings.
else. The Vikings. There you go. So they lost Marcus Davenport, who they traded up for, and they thought he was the next big thing. You have, like you said, Cameron Jordan. Now go get more pass rushing help. Try and get after the quarterback. Make these other quarterbacks struggle and make them fight for for their yards and their touchdowns and everything. So and with the cornerbacks that they have and the secondary that they have, they should be able to make them pay. So I definitely think that they should start looking for replacements, but I wouldn't be surprised if they went the other route and try to get pass rush and get after the quarterback. Gilbert, all indications are that the Panthers will be selecting Bryce Young out of Alabama when Los Angeles own Bryce Young. When they
Pasadena, by the way.
Pasadena, when they select number one overall in the draft. Are they making the right call by this, or do you feel like there's well, I mean, your man crush, put your man
Yeah.
crush aside, and do you think that they're making the right call with this?
It's tough, Fernando, because like if he was a little bigger, I wish I was a little. What's that song? I wish I was a little
I wish I
taller or
was
whatever.
taller. I
There you
wish I
go.
was a baller.
Yeah, definitely. You're a better singer than I am, or a better rapper. But he would definitely be the number one pick. I don't know how good he would be or how special he would have been. Like, I don't think he would have been in the Trevor Lawrence lock kind of range, but he would have been number one for sure, and no questions about it. But if he does become like a Drew Brees, where like they call him a point guard, like this guy, he's a general on the field. He knows he's such a smart player. Like I think he scored really well in that
On
one
the
test they
Wonderlic.
do.
Yeah.
So he's accurate. He could create away from the pocket. He knows how to read a defense. He's a smart player. He's a good leader. So all that makes sense, but it just scares me, like, because if you're you're facing like a vaunted pass rush, you get hit in the ribs or whatever, you got to keep coming back up, keep pushing the ball down the field, and your body can't withstand it. It's really risky. But if his skills are so much better than CJ Stroud, then I get why they're doing it.
Learn to throw the football away, kid. If that's what you're gonna like, you live to fight another day. But I definitely think that they're making the right call. If Bryce Young, from all indications, seems like he's a leader. He's smart. He knows exactly what he's doing. Now the Panthers have some good. They have some good coaches on that staff, so I definitely think that they're going to help utilize his talents. Now you have to get him weapons. You have to protect him. Get him a running back. So if they can do all that stuff, then I think he should be good. But that's the ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I definitely think that they're making the right call. I think he is the best quarterback out of this whole group. Now, obviously, the one with the most upside, probably not, but I think he's the safest one out of this whole group. So I think they're making the right call, and I can't wait to see what Frank Reich and his offensive staff do with him. Gilbert, you covered this quarterback for about a good 4 games or 5 games last season. Baker Mayfield now heads to the Bucs. Should they focus on fixing the rest of their roster, Gilbert, or should they go with a quarterback?
Well, they're kind of like in a tough place also to like the Saints. I know they don't have like I know Baker and Derek Carr, or maybe they're all the same quarterback. Who knows? People will debate that all day. But they have good weapons there. And they have some good defensive players. Like they kept both of their cornerbacks, like Jamel Dean. They still got Carlton Davis from the other free agency. They kept Levante David. Devin White might not be there, right? He might get traded. But the offensive line was really bad. So say you get like a Will Levis or Hendon Hooker won't be ready, but you get Levis. And your offensive line stinks, and you kind of like rattle the guy mentally, and he gets beat up. And I know he's a big dude. He could take a beating, and he also likes mayo in his coffee. But I think the maybe the Bucs will sit out the year and let Baker do what he could do, and maybe help out the offensive line. Like they got Tristan Wirfs. I keep seeing reports that maybe he might be willing to go to left tackle, and you get a right tackle in the draft, and you start building the offensive line that way, because your boy, your guy, your legend, your icon, Tom Brady took a beating last year, and he had to go to retirement because that's how bad the O-line was.
As of right now, he's a retired. Yeah, so you never know.
Still not gonna
at San Francisco, hey, that's a pretty good team. I'd be looking at that. Now, obviously, Gilbert, I guess I believe in Baker Mayfield a little bit more than other people do. I don't know why, but I just feel like Baker Mayfield could actually do a serviceable job there, especially with the weapons that they have. They have Chris Godwin. They have Mike Evans. I feel like if you can get him a serviceable tight end, if the offensive line can block for him, I think Baker Mayfield can make some stuff happen. I'm not saying he can leave them to the playoffs or whatever, but I feel like he could do a serviceable job. So where does that leave my thinking? Go build the rest of the team. Go get a tight end. Go get some offensive line help the defense. They have some good pieces on that defense. It's just time to add more to them and retool them because just in case, let's just say, okay, you don't want Baker Mayfield. He doesn't do a good job. Well, hey, if you rebuilt this team next year, maybe you get a quarterback in free agency, or maybe you draft your quarterback of the future and you already have your team prepared, just like Jalen Hurts with the Eagles. They had their team basically prepared, the fundamentals of it. They just went and they got him, and now they plugged him in, and now they're a good team. So you never know what could happen with this. But Gilbert, we end with the Falcons. The Falcons have made a lot of really solid moves, I think, this offseason. They've gotten Jesse Bates. They've re-signed a lot of their offensive line. Gilbert, do you feel like they need to draft an edge rusher at number 8?
It feels that way because they were one of the worst teams at generating a pass rush, and it's Grady Jarrett, right? He's one of the guys who does well, but like he was like by himself out there. And I like what they've done on the offense. I know they can't find Kyle Pitts in the end zone for fantasy people, but like, Kyle Pitts is doing decent.
You sound like one of those.
Yeah, I know the people who are annoyed, but like if you look at the stats, like they were like one of the top rushing teams in the NFL. Can you name their running back? They're just a good scheme for that rushing team. I know they don't have Mariota there; they got Desmond Ritter, but you got to generate a pass rush. You got AJ Terrell as a cornerback. You brought in Joseph Bates, a safety. So a couple guys in the interior. So go after the quarterback, and at number 8, maybe it's a little reach for a Nolan Smith or a Miles Murphy or a Lucas Van Ness, because you kind of miss that tier of Tyree Wilson and Will Anderson. So trust your scouting department and get the top edge rusher. But I wouldn't mind even a corner to go with AJ Terrell as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think edge rusher should be a position that they should be looking at, just because you want to get after the quarterback. Like I said about the Saints, you want to get off, and I don't think they have much. Like you said, Grady Jarrett, and that's basically
He's
it.
older,
You need
too.
more. Exactly. You need more of a pass rush. You need to be able to get after these quarterbacks. And I feel like that's really going to help them. You need to start solidifying some of these spots because like we said, once your team is built and they're ready to go, you're going to need obviously a quarterback and all that other stuff. But I feel like the Falcons have some good pieces. They've added some good pieces in free agency. They got Jesse Bates. Like I said, they have some good pieces around them. So I definitely think that they need to go either edge rusher, like you said, cornerback, and they'll really be cooking with something because, like you said, AJ Terrell's a good corner. Add Gonzalez in there, or add another one of those corners, and man, you could really have something special there with that secondary. But another duo that has a lot of special things. It's the Compas. We have just finished the NFC South NFL divisional preview. Like we said, we're going to have all of these heading up into the draft. Make sure you check them out. If you're a fan of another team or your compas a fan of another team, let them know, hey, the compas got you. Here you go. Check out this preview. But we appreciate you guys so much for checking out yet another episode of NFL divisional previews with your compas.